Hello, I am Frank Kane, and this is Frankly Speaking, the show where we drill deep into the insights of the world's leading policymakers. Today, I am joined from Moscow by Kirill Dmitriev, Chief Executive of the Russian Direct Investment Fund, which has, over the span of just a few years, established an impressive record of investment and partnership in Saudi Arabia and the region. Mr. Dmitriev, welcome to Frankly Speaking.
Thank you, Frank. Great to see you.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Let me just say, by way of personal introduction, we haven't recorded episodes of Frankly Speaking over the past couple of weeks because I have been quarantined after a virus scare. And that brings us on really to the top priority item of our conversation today, the pandemic, COVID, and your vaccine. Now, Russia has invested, and the RDIF has invested, a lot of time and money into the Sputnik V vaccine, yet you still have quite a high level of infection in Russia, don't you? What can we learn from this? And tell me, has this impacted your ability to market the Sputnik V vaccine internationally?
Well, first of all, Frank, I'm sure you're okay, so that's great. That's very important. And secondly, we, without question, have the best vaccine in the world. So Sputnik V vaccine, if you look at several key parameters such as safety, efficacy, logistics, length of shot, lack of allergies, lack of other significant consequences, is out there as the number one, the best vaccine in the world. Hopefully, during your show, I can give you some facts additionally on this. This is recognized not only by Russia, but also by 9 other countries that have registered Sputnik already. And we expect about 8 more countries to register Sputnik already in the next couple of weeks. So we are moving very fast with the best vaccine out there. Now, of course, virus is touching lives of people in all of the countries. And Russia also has a number of cases, but the number of cases we believe will be declining as massive vaccination is really coming in big numbers. So far, we have around 1.5 million people vaccinated, which is still a small part of the overall Russian society. But every week it will be more and more people, and we are absolutely confident that with the help of the vaccine, we will defeat pandemic. And already by May, there will be basically end of massive pandemic in countries that have really done very massive, very fast vaccination.
The vaccine has had a very skeptical reception in the West in particular, hasn't it? And when we spoke over the summer, you told me that some countries were jealous of Russia's progress in the vaccine. Tell me, has that skepticism been abated to any degree since then?
Well, definitely. We had one of the journalists from New York Times who was one of the most aggressive and skeptical critics of the vaccine. He just got vaccinated with Sputnik V a couple of weeks ago. And he said, listen, we still have questions, we still have issues, but I want to stay healthy. So I will take a Sputnik. And we see that there is jealousness not only by some Western countries, but also by some pharma companies in the West who really understand that because Sputnik is based on decades safe technology of human adenovirus and has efficacy of more than 90% and doesn't require 70-degree minus to be transported, doesn't have those allergies that are really affecting many people around the world, they deep inside understand that we have the best vaccine. So that understanding really is clear in the rest of the world outside of US and Europe. So we have more than 75% of the people in the world who know about Sputnik V. And we've done survey with YouGov in 11 key countries that showed that Sputnik is consistently number 1 or number 2 vaccine that is a preferred vaccine for people to get vaccinated. And even in the West, we recently had a call between Ms. Merkel and President Putin, where Ms. Merkel was open to discuss production of our vaccine in Germany. We had a very successful visit by French COVID delegation to Russia. We have submitted documents for approval in Europe. So we will also work with Europe. But of course, our priority is Middle East, Latin America, Asia, Africa, those countries who are very eager to procure Sputnik. And you've seen the very positive reception in Argentina. When we delivered 300,000 doses, the whole country was elated and really understood the friendship and partnership between Russia and Argentina. So there is no question that skeptics are out of the arguments. There are no arguments left. We have one of the best vaccines, and it is accepted by more and more countries every day.
Mr. Dmitriev, you are, of course, an investment and financial expert, but in the past year, you have become something of a health and medical expert too, haven't you, via the Sputnik V rollouts. Can you give me your candid opinion of how Saudi Arabia has handled its COVID-19 response?
Well, Frank, I think Saudi Arabia handled it very well. So if you look at the total number of cases, if you look at basically the actions of the Saudi government, of His Majesty the King, His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, you see very strong response, very aggressive response that allowed Saudi to contain really this problem much better than many countries. And I think this is really a testament to your very efficient and very focused system, focused on testing, focused on really treating people early. And we also saw the vaccine rollout steps that you have taken. So I think Saudi really managed this very well, much better than many countries. And I think Saudi handling of the COVID pandemics is actually a good example for many countries.
There was also the action taken during the G20, wasn't there? And of course, Russia was involved in that too. Do you think that will bear fruit in the years ahead in terms of response to the pandemic and the economic crisis that it caused?
Yeah, definitely. I think, the G20 summit by Saudi Arabia has been very successful. It was held at one of the most difficult times in the history of the world. And basically, Saudi Arabia brought most of the world leaders together to really make key decisions on pandemics and other issues. So we believe this was really a historic G20, and we believe that Saudi leadership on COVID issues and on other issues really united many world leaders together, united maybe some of the previously conflicting opinions on several subjects, and really brought the world together. And I think this is a very important message as we fight this pandemic, that we can defeat it only by working together. Russia and Saudi and other leaders of G20 and other countries, only by partnership we can really finish this pandemic efficiently.
Okay. In the past few years, Russia and Saudi Arabia have got a lot closer, haven't they, in business, economic, investment terms. You have been at the forefront of this to a great degree. You were given the order of King Abdulaziz for your help in assisting Russian-Saudi relations. Tell me, in your view, what is the essence of this increasingly close relationship?
Well, I think the essence of this relationship is trust. And we have really built this trust working together on a wide variety of issues. And really, I think Saudi-Russia renaissance, or really great partnership that was built because of the leadership of President Putin, because of the leadership of His Majesty the King and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, is really an example for how many other nations can work together. And we had lots of misunderstandings between Russia and Saudi in the past. Frankly, very little communication, frankly, very little effort to work on issues. But we started working on energy issues, on investment issues, on healthcare issues. And by this work, we built really great partnership that led to dramatic positive results for Saudi people, positive results for Russian people and people of the world. And I'm not talking only about the energy deals that stabilized oil prices one time after another time, after another time, after another time. I think, the fact that oil prices are stable, which is good for consumers and producers, is a very specific result of our cooperation. But we've also financed jointly many infrastructure projects, many projects that are really helping to create jobs in Russia and Saudi Arabia. And I think this cooperation is an example, as I mentioned, for other nations, that they should put aside differences and some of the political misunderstandings, really focus on joint projects, really focus on economics, and achieve better understanding and better political relationship through this very wise, successful, results-oriented approach.
You have met His Royal Highness the Crown Prince on several occasions, I would imagine. What can you say about his leadership style? What can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I had the pleasure and an honor to meet His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman many times, and I'm always impressed with a combination of his very big and very significant positive vision for the Saudi people and for the world, but also ability to implement this vision into very specific, tangible actions that transform Saudi Arabia. And I think the world has seen really major transformation in Saudi economy, in Saudi culture over the last 5 years. And this is a result of the team that His Royal Highness put together that is really focused on tangible, specific results. And when we go and have discussions with Public Investment Fund, with other entities, we see people who are really focused on ensuring good investments, ensuring good results. So it's a combination of very positive vision and specifics that makes him a unique leader. And of course, we saw the announcement of his new project, The Line, which we believe is really very much forward-thinking project that will create lots of jobs, that will be good for environment, that will be good for technology development, and basically will be implemented in Saudi Arabia.
Tell me, does Russia see investment opportunities in The Line? Does the Russian Direct Investment Fund see investment opportunities in The Line?
Well, actually, we started discussing with Saudi side some preliminary ideas on this project even a couple of years ago, because we were one of the regional investors in Hyperloop, a company that developed the Hyperloop technology. And we believe that this infrastructure technology is going to be really a solution for the world in transportation needs of the future. So I think we really believe in the technology, and we believe the ecosystem that will be created as a result of this project is definitely of interest to Russia, and definitely our regional investment in Hyperloop is a testament to the future promise of this technology that, by the way, is not only about transporting people, but also a lot about transporting cargo and solving logistical issues of the world much more efficiently.
His Royal Highness the Crown Prince recently announced at a meeting of the World Economic Forum that there were $6 trillion worth of investment opportunities in Saudi Arabia over the next decade through the Vision 2030 strategy. Tell me, will Russia be part of that $6 trillion? Can you estimate how much of that $6 trillion might come from Russia?
Well, I think I don't want to put any numbers right now. I think it's clearly that Russia is interested in investing in Saudi Arabia. I just mentioned this vaccine production cluster that we would like to build jointly in Saudi Arabia, and we believe on healthcare we can do lots of great things together, including online healthcare and other initiatives. So definitely Saudi Arabia is a big, very important market in the Middle East. It's also a trend setter and a key technology market, given its very young population, very active population for the Middle East and the world. So, of course, many Russian companies are very keen to work in Saudi Arabia, and we have a great business council chaired by me from the Russian side and by Prince Abdullah, head of National Guard of Saudi Arabia from the Saudi side. And this council meets very frequently and has lots of specific plans for our businesses cooperating in a very positive manner.
You've already touched on the cooperation in the oil business, which really has been critical in restabilizing global energy markets in the course of the pandemic crisis. Tell me, what's the key relationship here? Saudi Arabia and Russia are the two biggest producers within OPEC Plus. How would you summarize the relationship between them within the organization?
Yeah, well, I think it's very clear that it's a joint work by all of the OPEC Plus members. And there is consensus among all of the OPEC Plus members that is achieved every time. And I think this consensus among all nations is really the centerpiece of OPEC. And, consensus is very important. So Russia and Saudi, of course, work together to, develop some ideas and to work on best decisions and to build this consensus. But I think it's very important, and also our Vice Prime Minister Novak and your Minister, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz, always emphasize the consensus nature of OPEC Plus as its core pinnacles, as something that ensures that it works in the best interest of all of the nations and takes all of the voices into account.
There were some elements of disagreement, wasn't there, last month in OPEC Plus regarding Russian desire to see an increase in output. It was eventually agreed due to a Saudi intervention and a big unexpected cut in Saudi oil output. But are there circumstances, do you think, in which Saudi and Russian interests in oil might diverge? Can you imagine any circumstances in which they would differ?
Well, I think we both are interested in the stable oil markets, so we are completely aligned. I think there are some short-term, adjustments that are being made. Russia has a very cold winter, so basically there are some technical limitations on what we can do with the supply of oil in the winter months. And I think it's very important that our Saudi colleagues understand some of those issues, and we found a very good compromise. And I think this surprise cut from Saudi Arabia, it's a very important contribution, as our Vice Prime Minister Novak said, New Year present to the world, because it really led to more stability, more predictability in the oil markets, and I think shows the critical role that Saudi Arabia plays in those energy markets. So we always are able to find agreement, and it is driven by consensus that we all have. We want to have stable markets that are good for consumers and for producers. And basically, this is why we are so successful in all those agreements over the course of the last 5 years.
I'm not going to ask you where you want oil prices to go, but I'm going to ask you where you think they will go. What do you think the price of Brent crude will be at the end of 2021?
Well, I think there are many moving parts here. And I think, once again, the Saudi surprise cut was very instrumental, given the new strains of the virus appearing, given the lockdowns that are happening around the world. So it's very difficult and frankly impossible to predict oil prices, given such huge movements on COVID infections and increase in COVID infections in Europe. Given, on the other hand, the positive hand stimulus that Biden administration is undertaking now in the US, which of course will be very positive for the economy of the US and for oil prices. So we believe, oil prices are likely to remain more or less stable in the near term, close to what they are now, maybe increasing a little bit. But of course, this is all subject to many different forces, very divergent forces affecting oil price. And that's why our basically monthly and sometimes even more frequent consultations with the Saudi side on the market are very important, because Russia, Saudi Arabia, OPEC Plus are very well positioned to make any adjustment necessary in the energy field if necessary.
I can't get a dollar prediction figure out of you then.
I learned not to give too many forward-looking statements.
Very sensible, very sensible. We've talked about the increasingly close financial investment business relationship between Saudi Arabia and Russia. Tell me, what's your view on the political relationship between them? How close are they there?
Yeah, I think we have really alignment on all of the key issues. And of course, in politics, there are always some disagreements here and there. But I think through dialogue, through really understanding each other's position, it's always possible to find a compromise, to find a solution. And I think Russia and Saudi have showed one of the best examples, frankly, in such discussions, because of course we had originally many different viewpoints on many issues, but through dialogue, through discussion, I think we are pretty much close on all of the issues and frankly agree on most of the issues. So I think this is very important for our countries, but also a very important example when you have good dialogue and when you have leadership, such as His Majesty and Crown Prince who are willing to listen, understand another point of view, and find a good solution. I think this is the future of positive world democracy and world politics that Saudi is showing.
There is one area of recent disagreements, isn't there? Because Russia dismissed as baseless the American allegations of close ties between Al-Qaeda and Iran. When is Russia going to recognize Iran for what it is?
Well, again, the position of Russia is we work with all of the nations. We try to find compromises. We are trying to find compromises with the US, with Europe, with other nations. And I think with Iran, it's very important to have, engagement and to have discussions on many different issues. And I think it's very important that for the world, Russia and Iran have, deep, strong dialogue to address concerns that appear. And I think this dialogue is an important way forward for all of the nations. I think only through dialogue can solutions be found.
Mr. Dmitriev, you will be participating in the forthcoming Future Investment Initiative conference, which is being held at the end of this month. Tell me, what do you expect to come out of that? The theme is about renaissance, recovery from the pandemic depression. How do we pull ourselves out of it? What will be the Russian message there?
Yeah, I think this is a very important theme, that not only we protect our people, but we also have our economies recover. And I think Saudi side really picked the most important theme and a positive theme going forward. We have also been investing not only in COVID-related, issues. We invested in tests. We invested in the anti-COVID drugs. It is very successful antiviral drug against COVID. But also have been invested a lot in online education, in online entertainment, in online healthcare. And I think we will see that the world will change following the pandemic. It will have much more online interactions, much more online services. But it is clear that this year will be the year of recovering from the pandemic, and everybody wants to have their lives return to normal. And I think for FII to have this theme of economy recovering and how do we move forward is very important, because lots of efficiency gains are possible in many sectors through use of online tools, artificial intelligence, and other sectors that really have emerged in more focus following the pandemic.
Mr. Dmitriev, we look forward to welcoming you there. I must say, many thanks for your candid answers. You have given us an exhaustive overview of how Russia sees the Middle East, the world, Saudi Arabia in these pandemic times. Let me, if you would, exhaust the full extent of my Russian and say spasibo большое и до свидания. We are pleased to have you on Frankly Speaking.